Hi, I'm going to begin with a bow today, and I invite you to join me. Welcome to Unit 3. Here we are. Um, Last week was such a broad focus on transpersonal psychology, history, concepts, some of the central figures, and a really broad look at the main ideas, the main themes of transpersonal psychology. This week, we're going to bring this closer in two different ways. First, I want to focus on what I consider to myself to be the core concepts of transpersonal psychology. And no doubt, this is a list that different transpersonal psychologists would build differently. So, actually, I want to invite you to begin to build your own list about the core concepts of transpersonal psychology, especially those that make it come alive for you. The concepts, the ideas that really bring it home to you. I think it might be interesting to also build a list of experiences and practices. And that way we take advantage of Francis Vaughn's layout of psychology, of transpersonal psychology, as content, context, and process. So these are really more the context elements, the concepts of transpersonal psychology. Then this week, we also bring our focus in most tightly on what most, I think, consider the core concept in transpersonal psychology, and that is ego transcendence. Sometimes, ego transcendence as a reflection of non-duality leads transpersonal psychologists to suggest that the central concept is non-duality. But I think for us, let's keep it simpler and more sort of personal in a way. And I want to look most closely this week at ego transcendence. I have to say, for me, this material on what is the ego, what is the self, what does it mean to self-transcend, what does it mean to transcend our egos, and especially, what is the experience of that kind of transcendence? What are the implications and the impact on consciousness, and especially on the way that we live? This particular content here, ego transcendence and its impacts, this is the most delicious material that I know in transpersonal psychology. Really, to me, it feels like it's at the heart of it. And I mean heart in a literal way, as the core and the element of transpersonal psychology that most enlivens and empowers and enables the rest of transpersonal psychology. So to me, it sits right at the foundation, right at the core, right at the heart. But I also mean heart in a more metaphoric way. Because even though this week we're using a lot of psychological jargon, a lot of psychological concepts, I find it delicious in its personal relevance to us. So I hope that's also part of our discussions this week, is the personal relevance as well as the conceptual nuance of this material. Delicious. And I hope you find it delicious too. Glad you're here. I'm going to bow. See you online.